The conference room smelled like polished wood and old power. I was standing at the edge of the table when my phone vibrated, once, sharp and deliberate. Unknown number, no subject, just a message. He's here. Don't react. I didn't need to ask who. Across the glass wall, reflections folded into each other. Suits, screens, faces trained to look neutral. And then I saw him, my wife's father, walking in with the same measured arrogance, the same expression he wore the day he humiliated me in front of my coworkers. Leave if you want, you'll be back begging within a month. I remembered my reply, calm, almost polite, start counting. The message burned in my palm as he took his seat at the head of the table, CEO posture, owner's confidence. He didn't look at me yet. He never did, unless it was to remind me of my place. My pulse stayed steady. That terrified me, because weeks ago I would have folded, apologized, endured, stayed silent to protect my marriage. But silence had taught me something important. Everyone around me was lying, and I had already won. It started with a laugh that didn't belong to me. My wife was in the kitchen, back turned, phone pressed to her ear. Her voice dropped into a softness I hadn't heard in months. Not exhaustion, not routine, intimacy. I stood still, keys in hand, breath suspended. When she noticed me, she didn't jump. That was the first crack. She smiled too late, hung up too fast. It was Dad, she said. She said it easily, too easily. Her father had always been between us, an invisible third presence. His approval, his money, his expectations. I was the tolerated inconvenience, the son-in-law who should have known his limits. After the public humiliation, she told me to let it go. He didn't mean it like that. You should have been more respectful. Respect. The word tasted bitter. Then came the subtle shifts. Late nights, password changes, conversations ending when I entered rooms. She stopped asking about my job search because she didn't think I had one. I didn't accuse. I observed. Betrayal doesn't announce itself. It leaks, slowly, through routine, through avoidance, and through loyalty that was never mine. I moved cities without telling anyone why. A recruiter had reached out months earlier. Different industry, different ceiling. I said yes before fear could catch up. The offer tripled my salary, stock options, authority, freedom. I let my wife believe I was unemployed, let her father believe I was desperate. Their pity became a weapon I allowed them to hold. While they underestimated me, I listened. Phone records don't lie. Location data is brutally honest. Meetings scheduled under vague names, transfers between family accounts that didn't match business logic. I watched my wife defend her father in arguments she created herself. I watched her erase messages and forget to delete the backups. And I watched him, my father-in-law, pull strings to blacklist me quietly, assuming I'd never know. I knew everything. Still, I smiled. Still, I waited. Revenge is useless without timing. The email arrived at 3:12 a.m. Board agenda, confidential, internal. My name was on it. The company I now worked for was acquiring a controlling interest in a subsidiary, his subsidiary. I didn't sleep. At the meeting, when he finally looked at me, his eyes narrowed. Recognition flickered, then confusion. I slid a single folder across the table. Inside, financial inconsistencies, evidence of nepotism, proof of the affair he'd been funding between my wife and his chosen successor, a man half my age, half my restraint. My wife's face drained of color when she realized where she was, what room this was. I didn't raise my voice. I already knew, I said. That broke her. He tried to speak, authority cracking under weight. I stood. I took your advice, I said calmly. I left. Silence pressed down on the room, and I didn't beg. I turned to my wife. She was shaking now, not from guilt, from exposure. You chose power over partnership, I said. That was your decision. Then to him, you taught me something invaluable, I continued. Never confuse position with control. The vote passed without drama. He was removed within the hour. I walked out first. People ask if it hurt. Of course it did, but pain is temporary. Clarity isn't. I don't hate them. Hate requires investment. I withdrew everything. New city, new life, no ghosts. The last message I ever sent was simple. You stopped counting too soon. And I meant it.